Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another WiTH Talk. My name is Sergio Ferreira. I'm the Executive Director of the Westman Institute of Tourism and Hospitality at Nova SBE. We are a partnership between Nova SBE and the Westman Hospitality Group, and we aim to upgrade the management skills in the area of hospitality, and at the same time to use the principles of hospitality and the expertise in that area to any customer service. Our work at the Westman Institute basically have three big pillars. The first one is one of the reasons that we are here today. We have an area expertise in our master in management. So we have the pleasure to have our students and have the Nova Hospitality Club with us organizing this event. We also have a second pillar on executive training programs, and the third pillar will be sustainable development in Africa. And the WiTH Talks are basically one of the vehicles that we have to engage with the industry. This is one thing that we value very much, is that our students have frequent contact with the industry and with the industry players to learn what are the challenges from the industry, but at the same time learn what are the best practices and the good cases that we can get from the principles. And today, basically, we have one very good example of practice in terms of hospitality, and an inspiring example. And thank you to Paulo and Mariana for being with us from Santander, of using the hospitality principles in the banking area, which is, I would say, unexpected for most of the hospitality students that typically think about hotels or think about restaurants or think about the traditional hospitality area. But what we actually believe is, and today we're going to have the proof of that, is that customer care and customer service is key to any industry, and all industry, especially the services industry, are moving into that. So with no further delay, I would hand over to Susanna Atalay from our team that will introduce today's speakers and will lead the session from now on. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Susanna. I've recently joined the Westman project, and today I'm very happy to introduce you to our guests. I will start with Mariana. Mariana is an alumni from Nova SBE. She has a degree in Masters in Management. She has 10 years of experience in the product and marketing areas of Banco Santander, where she was responsible for different business lines. At the beginning of 2019, she took over the strategy area for private customers with a special focus on customers. Currently, Mariana is the omnichannel distribution manager. Paulo Lorenzo has a degree in economics and management. He started his career at the former Banco Português do Atlântico, now called Millennium BCP. Since 2000, he has been responsible for several areas, namely TOTA, Santander Networks, commercial offer, marketing, and CRM at Banco Santander. So currently, Paulo is responsible for the distribution models area. I am happy now to give the word to Mariana, so we can start our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Sergio and Susanna, for this invitation. It is with pleasure that we will share today our experience of Café, which is an innovative branch model that we created in order to respond to the customers and to the customers' changing needs that we are facing. So I will share a presentation in order to guide you through this to this talk. So please confirm that you are seeing. First, what I want to say, and Susanna introduced me briefly, to say that in the last few years, I really have been in areas where the customer is really at the center of what I've been doing, trying to understand how better we can serve our customers, and now specifically in the omnichannel distribution team, to understand how our distribution model can really respond to the changing needs of our customers. And Santander Work Café is an example of that, we believe. And also I believe here the team believe that because they made this invitation. And to make this journey with you today, we have to do a little time travel, because Santander Work Café is an evolution of a strategy that we implemented with our branch models, and a path that we made to evolve what we had as the traditional branches. So starting this journey, we start in 2015, 2016, and at that time we've seen that the banking products became a commodity. So a mortgage is a mortgage, a savings deposit is just a savings deposit, and there was not a lot of differentiation that we could achieve by the product characteristics. It's like when you buy a pack of rice. If you have a favorite brand, then you'll choose probably that brand. If you don't know a lot about rice, then you'll just choose probably the one that is the cheapest, or maybe the one that has an interesting package. But probably that it will be down to price, and that was also what could happen to our financial products. So we knew we didn't want to differentiate by price. So the question that we made was, how do we differentiate from our competitors? How we keep relevance and give them reasons to choose us instead of others? And at Santander, what we realized is that we wanted to distinguish by customer service, and to deliver excellent customer service to our customers, to give them reasons to choose us again and again, and maybe if they are really satisfied, then also recommend us to friends and family. So this was our starting point. And then we can ask, well, why are we then investing in branches? Why is it relevant? Obviously, we had a lot of branches at that time, but the digital was also growing. So why did we invest in branches? And mainly three reasons. Well, the first is that at that time, branches were still the main touch point with our customers. In a survey made by an independent consultant, 87% of the customers in Southern Europe responded that they still used the branches as their main touch point with their bank. So we couldn't avoid thinking about how we could enhance that experience in the branch. The second was that the most valuable and high complexity transactions were still made in the branch. So when we think about a mortgage, or when we think about making an investment, customers went to the branch and still liked to do this with the presence of an advisor. So the most valuable transactions for customers and for us as a business still took place in the branch. So one reason more to rethink how we could enhance that experience. And last but not least, we understood that human interaction is key in building trust with our customers. And ultimately, we can have great processes, and we can have great digital capabilities and improve them. But if you have an interaction with someone, your experience will be marked by that interaction. So we wanted to make sure that an interaction, and at that time, the interactions were still a lot in branch. Human interaction was really good. We wanted to make sure that that happened, and that people felt that way when they talked with one of our advisors. So these were the reasons why we understood that we needed to evolve from the traditional branch. And how did we do this? Well, we went and listened, obviously, to customers, because how can we make something for them without listening? So we went to listening, obviously understanding also the main trends in the market. So what did we find out? We found out that people wanted orientation when they arrived to a branch. They wanted to feel that they were acknowledged by someone in the branch, that they knew that they were there, and they wanted to know to whom to talk, where to go. The second thing that people told us was that obviously they wanted to wait few time possible. So at that time, there were branches with some queues. People still went fairly enough amount of times to the branch. So people wanted to reduce time of waiting. This is a topic that I'll address later, because sometimes we cannot reduce time, the waiting time, but we can make something in order to have a better perception of that time. Then the third was privacy. So people really asked us that to have privacy when they were attended at the cashier. So when they're dealing with money, really physical money, something that people didn't felt comfortable when there are other people seeing the amount of money they are dealing with in the branch. And last, what we saw is a trend in general, not specifically in financial and banking, was that spaces became much more clearer. We worked all in open spaces in our companies, but the branch didn't reflect that feeling. People demanded more clear spaces, lights, with no visual barriers. So this was something that we saw that we also needed to address in our branches. Obviously, we also had business objectives that we wanted to achieve with this change. And I will name 4. One is obviously enhanced digital adoption. At that time, we already had online capabilities and have things that could be done online or through our self-banking or ATM machines. We wanted to enhance that adoption by our customers so that we could achieve the second objective, was to reduce transactional visits, those with lower value for us, and focus on the commercial activity where we could really add value for the customer and obviously also add value for us as a business. Then we wanted to also to create engagement in this objective of having a good customer experience, to be more close to our customers, and so that he felt that we were in a partnership, that it wasn't, that is a two-way relation. So we wanted that our branch would reflect that also. And the last thing that I wanted to point out as a business objective is also that we wanted obviously a good experience for every customer, but we wanted to differentiate experience for high value customers. So combining these two, the customer needs, the trends that we saw in the market, and our business objectives, we created the first evolution of a traditional branch, which we called Smart Red. So Smart Red, this is the look and feel of a Smart Red branch here in Lisbon, with open space. It's clear, it has light, no few visual barriers, and this was the first evolution that then led to Work Café, and this is why I'm talking about it. And to show you a little bit how we responded to those challenges, I will show you a floor plan, which is the best way to understand what we really did to respond to those challenges. So first here, this is the entrance, and what we did is put the self-banking zone on the top as the customer arrives. It's the first thing we do. It's a big space where we have the self-banking and ATM machines, and also the multi-channel area with the possibility to go to online banking. But to welcome the customers, we created a new function within the branch, which is the meter greeter. So someone that his function is to welcome the customers, to see what is that the customer wants to do in the branch. We also implemented a router so that everyone can pick his turn and know when his turn is, and also to differentiate the type of need in the branch. So we could clearly differentiate what was merely transactional from what was commercial activity, and guide the customer through the branch with this objective. Also, something very important with this welcoming is that we could understand immediately who the customer is. The greeter could promote the digital adoption if the need that the customer had could be responded by one of our self-service points, and thus reducing the traffic in the branch. And then if he really needed or wanted to talk to an advisor, when the advisor gets to him, he already knows who the person is. He has his name, has his information, and can really attend him with much more quality. So this was really one of the biggest changes that we made with these type of branches. The second that I wanted to point out is what I talked about waiting. So we created a more open space, a waiting area that is comfortable with sofas or benches, but that they are comfortable, that we have a digital wall with information passing. It's not only banking, it's not only Santander that is going on there. So people really can be well, comfortable and fairly distracted while waiting if they have to wait, and so reducing the perceived time of waiting when there is a waiting time, and so responding also to that challenge that customers gave us. Then about the cashier that I talked about, so we put the cashier on a reserved area. There's a wall, so the people that are waiting don't see what you are doing in the cashier with our employee. So it's really much more reserved for our customers. And then we have a space that is have multiple functions. So we had meeting rooms. So we really transformed the space in order to have the space for the customer and not something that only was directed to serve our objectives. And just to show you some images of what I'm talking about, because it's important to see. So this is the area of the meter greeter, where we welcome our customers, the waiting area, as you see. On the waiting area, we also created a zone especially for the children can use tablets. So if you need to take your child to the branch, it's no problem. You're welcome, and that we have a space also for them. So the digital area also reserved, so you can do things alone or even with someone explaining from the branch to you. On the beginning of as you enter the branch. And also one thing that I also wanted to point out is this idea of how we create engagement by changing the space. So what we did here, we show an advisor position. So rather than having a square table where the employee sits on the one side and the customer on the other, we had round tables put in place. The customer can sit alongside with our employee. Obviously now with the pandemic, this is not so beautiful, but it makes sense in the point of view of creating engagement. And also the monitor, it turns, so you can share, we can share with the customer what we are seeing, showing product characteristics, so it makes the interaction much better. So this was the first evolution. As I said, 2016, 2017, we implemented some of these type of branches. But then, well, the world kept changing and our customers too. So what we saw next, and probably you will relate to this. So digital acceleration, suddenly everything was made on our phones, everything is there, and customers demanded this from us. So we also needed to improve, and we did, our digital capabilities and the functionalities that were available online. Sorry. So what did this resulted in less people in branches. So suddenly we have a lot of time with no customers in branches. This was the first challenge that was accelerated. We had some of this, but this was accelerated around this time. Then secondly, we had new entrants. So whereas it was big techs like Google and Apple Pay or neobanks that were targeting specific problems that maybe traditional banks weren't addressing, but mainly digital solutions, so all based on digital. And third, the network effect. So also this suddenly also everything we wanted to people wanted to share their lives or their thoughts online on different platforms. It just had a boom by this time, 2018 or around that. So and that this the community idea, or the idea of sharing something with the community from friends or sometimes just people that I know, but I'm not such a friend of them, but I also want to share with them what I think, what I do, suddenly became a part of our lives. And well, I think that probably most of this audience relates to this. So now we don't see ourselves in another way than sharing what we do and what we think online. So this was in place, and ultimately what we also saw or what we see with this is a new type of customer emerging. So a customer that seeks experiences and seeks emotion in order to maybe think and be loyal to a brand. And I bring this image, I know that Nespresso was here last week, but we believe that this is a great example of how to transform common product that is well spread in our society and transform it into an experience. So and this was what we were aiming. I remember the first time I went to an espresso store, and I was fascinated by it because the design is beautiful, everything is well put in place, and also the feeling that we have when we talk with someone there is that we are special, and you feel that you want to be a part of it. And it's also what Apple does, for example, another good example, because you have that kind of, we aspire to be something, to be part of that world. So we at Santander understood at that time that in order that we had to take it to the next level, and to be relevant, we needed to create that kind of experience in banking. Well, and this is how Work Café came up in 2017 in Chile. And this is Work Café. So what is Work Café? It's a coffee shop where you can go and grab a cup of coffee and eat something, whether you are a customer or non-customer, where you can work, where you can study alone or with other people. So the space is open. You can relax because we have sofas. You can have meetings, whether it's with us or whether if you want to reserve a room to have a meeting because you don't have one of your own, where you can attend events that we promote, or maybe that some of our customers will promote in the future. So it's a dynamic space where people can go and have their lives. And by the way, it's a bank branch where you can talk to our employees and do the things you need to do with us. But also it hasn't to be in a traditional way. It can be on a sofa, it can be on a while you drink a coffee, or obviously it can be in a more private space. So it's really a different concept of banking. So in taking you through, well, how this is in Portugal and what we want to achieve. So as I said, Work Café was created first in Chile in 2017. We opened our first branch here, Work Café branch in Portugal in 2018 in Lisbon, near Amoreiras. Then we opened two more in 2019. And then 2020 we were hit by COVID-19, so everything was put on hold for a time. But now we are planning to open a fourth branch in Oporto until the end of this year. And well, what do we want to achieve? So obviously, we want to achieve to enhance customer experience. This is all about what I've been talking, but also, and we believe we can really deliver this with this space. But also, we want to create community with our customers. So, taking that network effect that I was talking about, we want to grab this trend and create a community with our customers, and also to make them create community amongst them by promoting events, by promoting this interaction in our branch that is much more than a branch. And also we want to promote entrepreneurship and this experience sharing. And this is very aligned with Santander's mission as a bank, which is to help people and businesses prosper. So what better way to help society prosper than have a space where you can create, where you can relate with others and make new ideas happen. Well, and ultimately also what we want is to attract new customers. Obviously, as I said, with the challenge of having less customers in our branches, we had a challenge that is how we can bring new people to our branch. And this is a way, because you can go there whether you're a customer or not. And when you are there and you're not a customer, well, then it's our job to try to bring us to us, and that's what we do every day. So at the end, what we want to achieve with Work Café is more value creation for us and more value creation for the customer, because it's a multi-tasking space where you can live, where you can do things and have and bring more to your life. So, and well, and how is it going? It's obviously, I believe, a question that is in our minds right now. What have we achieved so far? As I said, Work Café in Portugal has a little experience, because it's mostly a full year of functioning before COVID-19. And as we know, uh, as I'm talking, you understand that this lives with the presence of people there. So obviously the last year isn't an example, but the data that we have show us that we are achieving what we are in the good path of achieving what we want. So it's just some numbers here in terms of comparing Work Café with other customers. So in the pre-pandemic period, so 2019, the Work Café branches had more 10% of growth of new customers than the other branches. So we were really achieving this goal of having more new customers to the bank with Work Café. The other thing about in this viewpoint of growing, having a better growth, from this trimester, so the first trimester of 2021, we see that Work Café branches are growing more than the others, either in loans to customers and customer funds. So the results are coming, and we are having the ability to grow, although we are not having the type of traffic that we wanted to have in the branch right now. And then about customer experience, we measure it with NPS, Net Promoter Score, which is a measure that sees who are the most satisfied and subtracts the ones that are that don't promote our service at all. And how does it compare? Well, we have a 76% NPS in our Best Work Café branch, which compares to 70% on other branches. So this is also showing that we are in a good path. We have obviously we want to improve this, but this shows us that we are achieving the goals that we wanted with this type of branch. We believe that now, when the pandemic is more controlled and we have the vaccination process more advanced, we will then be able to leverage on this experience. And we believe that the post-pandemic has given us an opportunity to leverage, because people, and I believe everyone in this room, is eager to have contact with others, to go to a concert, to go to the cinema. So everyone is really eager to have to be with people to have human interactions, to have social experiences. And this, we believe, this is a trend that is here this year for customer behavior, and that will help us in this objective of expanding the experience of Work Café. So, well, in the words of Ana Botti, Santander Group's executive chairman, with Work Café, we ensure that customers want rather than have to go to the branch. This is what we want, and we believe that we are achieving this. But to show you better how it is and how it works, unfortunately, this talk couldn't be in a Santander Work Café today, but I will bring you now a little bit of Work Café with a brief video.
No espaço público é modificar o conceito da banca em Portugal. É estar no meio de um espaço com cowork em que estamos mais próximos do cliente. Sabendo o cliente que este é um espaço que permite trabalhar e fazer uma relação comercial, origina que venham aberturas de novos clientes para poderem usufruir do espaço e trabalhar em convivência e trabalhando assim o banco também para a comunidade. O café é um espetáculo.
Temos tido muitos clientes e não clientes ao balcão. É uma forte relação que se cria com a comunidade. É extraordinário.
So I believe that with this short video, you had a little bit of a feeling of what is Work Café and the dynamic that we create in this space, because as you can see, those were normal days, and normal news pre-pandemic, obviously, and you saw people in the branch, people that were talking with employees of Santander, and people that were just there, having a cup of coffee. So this is really the dynamic that we believe we can create in this, and that is very valuable for our business. Well, so summing up, and I'm just finishing, Work Café comes up as an evolution of our branches, as an evolution of what we thought would be a good response to the new customer that was emerging and to the new challenges that we were facing in the industry. What we really believe is that with this type of experience, alongside with the other things that we are implementing as a bank, the digital transformation and other types of services, but all as a whole can give really this customer experience that we believe creates loyal customers. And that is what we want as a bank want at the end of the day, that is loyal customers that choose us day after day. The results and the buzz that we created with Work Café, we are happy with it. Obviously, we want to improve that as soon as we can all have a little bit of a more normal life and enhance this sense of community that we believe is very valuable. I hope that we see you someday in one of our Work Cafés. Our doors are open, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariana. we are going to open now our Q&A session. Please feel free to put your questions on a chat, or if you want to make them, you can also say that you want to speak. We are going now. You can go.
Can I go first?
Yes, Lisa, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I really enjoyed it. And my question is, you mentioned that the customers can reserve a room for the meetings, right? Mm-hmm. And you also want to do events or promote events. Do you monetize, or do you get any source of revenue from these spaces that you lend to the customers?
Mm-hmm. No. Right now, we don't charge for the use of our rooms. That is something that we have discussed with other geographies. So, as I said, this is a concept that we have in many geographies, and we talk with each other to share experiences. And for now, what we see is that we won't charge it because we want to really focus on our activities, which is core activity, which is banking. And so, and we don't want to create obstacles to our customers to really use the space. So we really want people to use it. So for now, we don't believe we will create this barrier. Maybe in the future, if the users is very we have a high demand, or if we have something problems to address with the usage of the space, maybe we think of it. But for now, we won't do this, and it's not being done in any geography of Santander. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has a question?
Can go next.
So
you talked about how you facilitate the contact between the clients and in order to create new business, perhaps. And how do you do that?
We believe that kind of interaction comes naturally with our customers going to Work Café and with the events that we promote there. Obviously, I'm talking of events, and now we weren't able to do those, only online, as we are doing now. But what we believe is with the events that we will in the future promote and promoted in the past also, people are there with similar interests, and that type of interaction comes naturally. But one thing that we wanted to do, and we were planning to do before the pandemic started, was to create an experience manager for Work Café. So someone whose role would be really to specifically know the customers that are going to our Work Café branches, understand their interests, and then also promote events that would be matched with those interests, and promote this sense of feeling of community that we want. And this is probably something that we will address in the near future, once we have the possibility to have more people in our branch, for sure.
Thank you.
Somebody has more questions?
Hello.
Hi, Arturo.
Hello. I was wondering, well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I was wondering how was the process of convincing management to implement this new idea, to test it, right? Because we're talking about an industry that was very, very fixed in ideas, and I guess the change didn't come easy at all. So how were you able to convince management and tell them, look, this is the future, this is a great idea, especially for this market?
Well, we as a group, we have as I told, so we are an international group. This idea came up in Chile. So and we always, as the business areas, like the distribution models area, has a practice of exchanging ideas, of promoting workshops where we see how the trends, where the trends are going, where we want to be. So this this is something that wasn't came, well, I wouldn't say, as I showed it, this was a path. We didn't come from the traditional branch to Work Café immediately. We made this transition to the Smart Red branches, which was a first evolution on going more customer centric. And then the key, I believe, was you had the market trends that showed you that we had to go into a different place in order to create engagement. We had the results and the experience of Smart Red, which showed that people were happy with that concept and were responding well with the changes that we made. So it was more natural, but I think the key is also that our management were very aligned and are the first to say that they wanted us to be a more customer-centric organization. So this was the motive that created this kind of innovation. I cannot talk really about the process by itself because, as I said, or the difficulties. I don't know if Paulo may add something, but this was an idea that was firstly created in Chile. So they created the need and made the path easier for us, because once it was implemented in Chile and the experience existed, it was easier for us to implement here in Portugal also.
I can
Very much.
I can add something about that. First place, my name is Paulo Lorenzo. I'm with Mariana, and you know, it's for us it's a big pleasure to be with you today to talk about a project that we have very good proud on that project. I'm sorry because I have some problems in speaking in English, but if I say something wrong, Mariana will help me.
Sure.
It's important to understand the importance to be to the advantage of belonging to an important group like Santander. In the last few years, the financial sector has had low profitability, so the investments have to be well measured, and many of the investments that we are making, not only in the digital area but also in these new physical network formats, are only possible due to the possibility of capturing synergies between all countries. We started with the Smart Red, as Mariana said. We have why we started with the Smart Red, because the importance now is to be customer centric, and we manage very well the NPS, and because of that we are always we try to be very close to the clients, to the customer. We created a customer center 2 years ago, when we try to measure everything that we do, if the clients, those investments are aligned with the customer needs, and which are the trends, and we try to anticipate to what will be the next steps and the needs of our clients in the future. We are investing a lot on that, and Work Café, it's one project of several that we are investing, to achieve a higher NPS and to be the best bank, because the customer service, as Mariana said before, is the thing that differentiates the bank from the other banks today. And we have to have the best customer service, and we are, and that is the objective, and what we meant when we launched the Work Café. I don't know if you understood everything what I tried to explain, but it's a project that we have a very good prod on that.
Thank you, Paulo.
I can just add that what is NPS? It's a
Net Promoter
Score. So just
Yes.
measure the satisfaction and loyalty of the client.
Yes.
Exactly. Net Promoter Score.
It's a metric
Just
between the clients that gave us the 9 and 10 levels, minus the clients that gave us less than 6, you know.
In the scale.
Mm.
Okay. Do we have more questions?
Yeah, hi, Rita here. First of all, congratulations on the initiative. I think that going customer-centric is very important, as well as building a community. I believe that in this last year, you may have gone through a rough time with this project, but maybe right now, this is a really good opportunity for you, because people are really craving the office interactions, the interactions with the teams, and maybe they are looking for opportunities like this. So this could be a really good thing for you. My question is, at the moment, I'm not a Santander customer. Are there any limitations or accessibility that maybe I wouldn't have access to? Okay, I understand that you would try to grab me as a client, totally understandable, but are there any limitations that I would face, like if I wanted to go on a regular basis to your cafe?
No, there is no limitation. So the Work Café is open for everyone, and you can go there and just every day without being a customer. And obviously, we'll try that, but not in a very, very intensive way. So it's the idea is that it is open, and obviously it's created for us, our customers, to have a good experience. But also, as I said, it's for everyone, and we want to create this community around where we are, where Work Café is. So there's no limitation. We have some benefits for our customers. So the coffee that you buy, if you are our customer, it's a little bit, the price is a little bit better, but that's the only difference that we make. And we, as a non-customer, we will treat you equally. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
Andre?
I have just one curiosity, because in the presentation you said that you're going to open in Oporto, but after that, are you planning on opening on more places, more in Lisbon, for example, or in other cities in Portugal?
We are evaluating and seeing which opportunities there are to open. As I think you understand, Work Café needs relatively big spaces as the concept as it is, but there's also a version that also is in there already is in place in Chile, which it's a light version. So afterwards we will think of both things. So see if there is an opportunity to open a more with the same concept, or maybe a lighter concept, or even it's a possible evolution is also understand which modules of Work Café can be implemented in other branches that won't be Work Café, but that can benefit from some of the ideas like the co-working space. So maybe obviously we won't have many Work Cafés in Portugal as they are this one that I showed because of our dimension and the space, but there are maybe there are modules that we can implement and that make the impact that we want to have in those communities, like smaller cities or even the urban cities that maybe don't have the space or the number of people that would justify a Work Café, because obviously it's also more expensive. So we have this cost and the benefits balance that we have to achieve. But well, so we are now after this one we will explore these three paths. So maybe there is an opportunity for more Work Cafés like this. Maybe we also may implement a version light or modules of Work Café in other branches. Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
We already are exporting some modules like the host solution, the queue management. We have some branches with that. And the meeting rooms, it will be, I think, the opening meeting rooms for the customers. I think it will be another next step that we will do. Like to try, we are using the Work Café as a lab for some projects that we have, like different opening hours. We will try that. We are working on that, and we will have some modules that we will export to a big part of our network branches.
I have a more HR question. How did you manage how did people react to this? You have somebody who's selling café, then you have somebody who's the concierge, then you have somebody who is responsible for the. How did Santander reacted to this? Your people.
Well, the part of the coffee shop is it's an externalization. So we have data that was dealing with this part. So we gave it to the people who know best to do this. And about our people and how they react to having this kind of interaction and openness. I think in the video it shows that they are enthusiastic about this because it creates more opportunities for them as advisors and as employees to talk to customers. So it really was a well embraced project, one because our employees at the branches, what they want really is to have opportunities to talk with customers, to also attract new customers, and this concept gives them this opportunity that's on a traditional branch is much smaller. So and at this point we didn't have a lot of friction. Obviously we had to have specific training so that they know how to manage the floor, as we call it. So how you interact with people on a branch that is much bigger and that has many spaces, but we gave specific training for people who were to work in Work Café. And obviously we also try within the people that we have to select those who would be more comfortable with this type of interaction, because to work in a branch like this, you really need to be very strong commercially and like a lot to interact with people. Obviously, this is a prerequisite for any branch employee, but at WorkCafé this is even stronger. But the experience is it's good, and people are very satisfied with this type of new type of branch. Yes.
Thank you. Sergio, you had a question? Yes.
Yeah, I can jump in from my side. Well, first of all, congratulations on the presentation. I have one comment and one question. I think one comment is one thing that we've been talking a lot, and actually also in the hospitality industry, which is both Mariana and Paul mentioned several times differentiation, and they see this project as a differentiator from their competitors. I think that's a very important thing, because we all I come traditionally from the hospitality area, and sometimes we question if we should go digital instead of using what I call it the superpower, which is human touch. And basically what you're putting is, you're in a very digitized sector, you're using human touch to change the way that we look. At least it was my feeling when I heard about your project and saw your presentation. You are changing the way that I look as the traditional role of the bank. Is not someone where I can get money from, or where I can put my money for resting. It's an opportunity for other objectives, and I think that's disruptive in terms of creating and changing the way that we see it. And by that, the idea of creating a community is a very important one, and I guess it's one thing that actually passions me a lot. My feeling is, are you feeling already that your customers see your space as a community space, so they gather there? Do you see that? Do you see a trend for that in terms of engagement for your customers, or perhaps COVID was not yet gave you the time for that?
Well, we didn't, as I said, we didn't have much time of full function for all WorkCafé branches, but I'm comfortable to say that what we saw with the events that we made for opening the branch and the dynamic that was created after is that, yes, people see it as a place where they can go and interact. And but what we think, and I mentioned that before, we really need to activate this, because it won't fit it's by itself. So the event, the opening event, and the days, weeks after are very relevant. It's a new thing, people go, but then we have to keep feeding that interest. And that is where comes the events. We during 2019 we did a lot here on the WorkCafés that we had open, because we had frequent talks that are named Conversas Soltas. So that's gave this dynamic to the space, but we believe that we really have to be more intentional in that promoting it, and we really want to do this as soon as we can. Well, be many people in one space, because it's big, but it's so yes, we saw that effect, but we really need to take it further with more activation. And as I said, we had this project to have an experience manager, which only function would be to activate the community, because we really think that it has to be activated in order to then become something that is part of the community. And maybe 1 year after, we can diminish the effort because the community is created. So yes, I think we have still work to do on that topic.
That's
Yes.
good. Well, perhaps you will need a community manager, and for sure our students are ready to join.
Yes.
Yes, it's a new job for this new branch. It's the experience manager. It's important to invest, to know, to have bigger knowledge about the interests, the needs of the people that circulate around the work cafe. The residents and no residents, the professionals that work around, to understand their needs, not only the financial needs, but all needs that they have, because we can help them not only in the financial issues, but we can try to have people to bring them to the work cafe to discuss, because we experienced that with the co-working area, that we have some startups that used a lot the working area, and they had the same problems in some time in their evolution, and the possibility to discuss between them the problems and the solutions, etc. It was a big improvement and a big experience for them, and this job of experience manager, it's important to give some dynamic to all of that, and to create the community, not only between bank and clients, the customers, but even between the customers, you know, because the manager of Zara maybe don't know the sponsor for the restaurant near the Moreiras, and the hotel that is there, and there is a lot of business that if we can join those people, maybe we can allow them to have new business, and it's one way to promote the community. Another way to promote community, we have that in mind, because now we have a lot of users in all over the world where we have work cafes. We can build here a social network between the users of the work cafe, and to help each other to solve their problems, and promote events to all of them with in live streaming, etc., that we can do from a work cafe. One of these days we did an event in London with a guy from Microsoft about one issue that it's important for all of our companies and business, that it was the problem of cybersecurity, and we had a lot of viewers and of that event all over the world, and it was promoted in a work cafe in London. Before pandemic, we did some events here in Lisbon, in Amoreiras, about several issues, important issues for the people that work on those areas, and it's a way to build a community and to help our clients prosper.
I think it's a great idea. I think the trust that we all always see in the bank as a trusted partner can be also create a trusted network, and that's important when you think about moving abroad or making your way to a certain market. If you create that network within your facilities, I think it works great. Well, but I'll leave the word to our students also to jump in.
I have one more question. So you invest a lot in being different, differentiate, and being ahead of your competitors, and you were able to create this work cafe. what do you think will be the next steps for the future, or what changes will you implement?
We commented some of them before regarding what we believe can be the next steps for Work Café. But as a whole, in thinking of our distribution models, we think that the future is omni-channel. So we think that we have to be where the customer is and where he wants to be when he wants to be. So we are developing several models of interaction with our customers. So we have since 2017, but now with more importance, we have remote management also for some type of our customers. We are also testing new ways of interaction, which is a hybrid model where we have the possibility of having a remote manager, but if you want, you can go to a branch and talk to him, because what we see is that we have customers are not all equal, that's for sure. We are trying to understand who are our customers continuously. So this is always a work in progress, and try to see where he wants to be served and deliver that kind of service. So in terms of how service models, this is where we are. So we have the branches, and this will be important for many of our customers still, because we have some that really don't use digital and probably won't use it in the next years. Then we have those kind of customers that use both, and we are trying to have a solution for them. We have those that are totally digital, and we are improving continuously our capabilities on digital to give them a good response. And we have this concept, and really what we want is that you can go wherever you feel comfortable and make sure that your experience is good. And if you start also something you start online, but then you have a problem, you can go offline and continue that process, is something that we aim, and we are trying to do with every process that we have, whereas it's a mortgage or a loan. So the evolution we see there, so omni-channel. And this is also why this team where Paulo and I was created, because sometimes we talked about innovation, sometimes when we have a project, as we understand, that has to have more relevance, we create specific projects to address those issues. And so this team where we are at of omni-channel distribution addresses all these kind of challenges regarding customer service. So what we are doing is to understand where the customers want to be served and try to deliver that kind of service to the customer as targeted, and also make sure that there are no barriers when you go online or offline, so that you can initiate a process online and go offline, or the other way around. This is something that we see as the future and that we are working on right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
Yes, if I may, I have a question regarding the outsourcing of the Café. So that we are discussing that the experience, the customer experience, it's the important, the most important, what differentiates yourself. So the outsourcing of the Café is also really important for you in order to have very good NPSs and client satisfaction. So how do you manage this partnership, this outsourced partnership now and in long term? How do you think of this partnership in outsourcing partnership?
We choose the best. We think we don't we are not we don't have the know-how of that industry, the coffee industry, and we choose the best. We have different experiences. When we are in Lisbon and Oporto, Delta can give us the old service. It's the partnership that we have now. When we are outside of Lisbon and Delta doesn't have the guarantee of a good service, we try to have the best in the best solution in each city. In each city, yes. In Coimbra, Delta give us the coffee, but the cakes, etc., we have another big client of us that support that part. But we have to the Delta to manage the quality of the service, even in Coimbra, because we have to have the best. It's our proposal, and we want to ensure that to our clients, and we don't want to try to offer something that we don't guarantee the best quality.
Thank you. I don't know, do we have more questions? Sergio?
No, I don't have. Well, I don't know. I don't have more questions. I think we're closing the talk. So perhaps let me just say a few words. Well, first of all, thank you, Mariana and Paulo, for sharing this experience with us. I think it was very enriching for our students and also for the community. And we also believe at Nova on the role of the community. And actually, Santander is part of our community as Nova. So it's great to have you with us and sharing this great experience. And actually, it makes match with several things that we are preparing at Nova. And we also use these talks to actually validate some of our questions, because I think we're all ones more than others. We are all living in a test and see model, and it's great. We believe seriously in the role of the consumer and the role of the consumer care as a solution. And I believe your project was perfect. We also believe in the power of the human touch to drive business, and I think that's something that you're embracing, and hopefully it will make the best efforts. And we also see, and I believe we started our journey at hospitality at Nova before COVID-19. You've started your project before COVID-19, but I think one thing that actually came with COVID-19, and I believe you'll see the results after this, is the role of the community became more and more important. I think it's not one standalone. We believe that. I think we all witnessed our fragility as human beings and as small companies. So we need the power of the community, and which makes the management of the community a very important task. And it's good to see also banks and traditional. Sorry, guys, we always look at the bank guy as a traditional one. So, but seeing banks jumping into new areas and proving this stuff, and I think it's an excellent case. And actually, from our side, thank you, because it validates what we're jumping in. And I think also for our students, it's great to see it's not only professors or something saying beautiful things about ideas that are jumping in. It's actually seeing the real business working, and see also the role that they can play with Santander, if that's the case, or in any other service area where this kind of vision and this kind of application will pay off in the future. So from my side, thank you very much once again. I've seen this presentation before, and actually I'm still in love. Not yet a Santander consumer because I'm confined, but I'll definitely go back to because one thing that is my last comment. Sorry guys. Is because your office and in Amoreiras is a place that tells me a lot in my youth, because it was previously the place of Blockbuster. That actually, it's one lesson that I use in my classes to say, those guys that were a superpower and global brand did not innovate and get out of the business. So it's something also to learn from that, is you need to innovate, don't stand on what you think it's granted model of business, and try other things. And congratulations to Santander for the project, and thank you very much for sharing that experience with us.
Our pleasure, and we invite you to visit work cafes here or in another country that we are, because we have work cafes in all countries that the group Santander has network present. Yes.
That's great.
So thank you a lot also. It was very nice to be here and share this experience. And yes, I hope we had put a little bit of curiosity to go there and see for yourselves how it is. And also if you want to share the experience with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Take
you.
care.
A lot.
Stay healthy.
Bye.
Bye.